in government and politics. And it's going to take that type of personality to bring us out of this morass and this anger and this condition that exists today. But my father, he was an interesting character. He loved his fellow man, and he taught me, he said, Barry, I'll never forget, he said, as you walk down the path of life, you're going to stir up a little dust, it'll fall on others. Treat them all with kindness, because they'll never forget. I did the same thing at the library, Chris. Every time I talk about the old man, kind of breaks me up. You know something? He had a colorful life, and he had lots of experiences when he was in the military, flying fighter airplanes across the Atlantic Ocean on ferry command. He flew ammunition and supplies over the hump to supply Chiang Kai-shek, who was fighting Mao Zedong. Anyway, unbeknownst to anyone, he kept a journal. He kept a diary. And I don't know too many people that do that. But John Dean and I were roommates in high school and lifelong friends. After I left high school, I didn't think I'd ever see John. And then I went to Washington, and there he was, legal counsel to Richard Nixon. So we've been good friends ever since. And I found his diary in his papers in his dusty old boxes. And I said, you got to come look at this. And John said, this is pure Goldwater. And I said, that's the name of the book. So John and I struggled through 60 years of diaries to condense it down to 300 pages. And it wasn't an easy job because this man lived life and he experienced a lot. And if you like history and politics and just an ornery old guy, this is a great book, and I brought it with me. But you know, I think if my father were here today, he would remind us that we are spiritual beings protected by our Constitution. We are spiritual beings that with freedom and free market economics, the United States has pulled more people out of poverty than all the welfare programs put together. Politicians, if you think about it, are the only ones that create problems and then run against them. They function in the world of politics. And politics has been defined as poly, meaning many, and ticks, meaning blood-sucking creatures. Politicians really have the gall to think we can be buffaloed and convinced that only government has the answers. It reminds me kind of the story that I heard about George W. Bush when he stepped off the helicopter on the front lawn of the White House. He had two pigs under his arm, and the Marine at the bottom of the steps saluted and said, Mr. President, nice pigs. And the President admonished the Marine and said, no, these are just not ordinary pigs. These are genuine Arkansas Razorback hogs. I got one for Majority Leader Harry Reid, and I got another one for Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi. And the Marine said, nice trade, Mr. President. We are really today in the middle of another revolution. This time it's a revolution or a debate over ideas. The question is, will we continue on this path towards social economic as they have in Europe, or will we maintain liberty, and personal freedom. It is John Maynard Keynes and Milton Friedman and the Chicago School. It is a classic debate that has been going on in this country ever since my father first ran for the United States Senate in 1951. We have a new president, and how fortunate we are in this country to be able to witness a peaceful transition of power from one administration to another. This president is inspiring. He has great tools and capabilities, and we expect much from him. I think he gets high marks for opening the door to Cuba and for getting a new dog for the White House. A Portuguese water dog. Portuguese water dog. I thought that was the name of a drink here at Harold's Corral. Now, I represent the loyal opposition, and I have a different opinion. And contrary to what the president is proposing for this country, I think what the president is proposing and some of the things that have been enacted do not pass the smell test. You know what I mean. It's stuff that just doesn't seem right. It smells like a rat. It just doesn't pass the smell test. Have you ever heard of the paintless dent remover? Have you ever heard of the guy who wanted to sell you want to repair your rain gutters for half price? Or have you ever heard of a guy that's been promoted to president of a company that's failing? Well, these things just do not pass the smell test. We are in a recession because of government. And now the president wants the government to run the failed banks, General Motors, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and health care on top of it, just like they run Social Security, Medicare, education,